Hi guys! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So my name is Paul. Ta-da! Paul, yeah. And I'm very happy to be doing this lecture. This is lecture number 5. Now, this lecture has 3 very exciting things. I am being videoed. Here is the iPad. When I walk around, the iPad follows me. So after the video, you can get a link and watch the video again. But please make notes, because making notes is a good idea for your learning. The other wonderful thing, this PowerPoint has 47 slides, and you can email me. I will send you the PowerPoint. Slide 47 has my email details. Also, number 3, everything that I'm going to say is on these notes. I can send you a copy. Now, I shouldn't really be telling you this, should I? Because it means you're not going to make any notes. But please make notes, it's a good idea. Now, this lecture is very, very exciting. I'm going to tell you a very complex story. You can guess, the story is about gardening. Earthquakes. Now, earthquakes are terrible, but I know, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? And also, I'm going to tell you about a plant discovery. So the earthquakes, the gardening, and the plant discovery are all connected. But before we start, this lecture is going to be even more exciting. Because anytime you can say these things here. It's the same on both sides. So what does this say? This one. No. Again, please. No. Again, please. No. What are these here? Oh, who said that? Again, please. Okay. So this is wrong. I'm happy to hear that. This is correct. Ping pong. I'm happy to hear that. 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 Oh, it's beautiful. Okay. This is a positive thing. Now this one, another one. What does this say? Amazing. Again? Amazing. Oh, again? Amazing. And this one, what's that say? That sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Fantastic. Now, this one really is positive and negative. So, really? That means wow. And really? That means, oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. So, through this lecture, when I'm talking, you can say these things. Yeah, you're very happy about it. Okay, so let's begin. So, who am I? Well, in the United Kingdom, I'm a teacher. Amazing! That sounds terrible. And in this picture, this is in 2011. I'm in Japan. And in Japan, my name is James Burgin. My name is Paul James Burgin, but when I'm in Japan, I don't call myself Paul because Paul sounds like poor. And I don't want to be poor, I want to be rich. So I call myself James. My name is James Burgin. 007.5, yes. Yeah. However, normally I live in New Zealand. I was born in England, my mother's here, but I normally live in New Zealand. In New Zealand, I work as a gardener. So you need to say, hey Paul, why do you work as a gardener in New Zealand? 3, 2, 1. I'm glad you asked me that because I love gardening. It's just a lifestyle choice. I just like I don't have any kids, so I'm free to do this kind of job. So here I'm a very, very happy gardener here. That's in New Zealand. Where is New Zealand? Really? Where is New Zealand? Where is New Zealand? Does anybody know? Okay, a lot of people don't know where New Zealand is. New Zealand is here. This is New Zealand. People know where Australia is, but they don't know about New Zealand. So this is Australia. Australia is part of Australasia. And all of these countries here are part of Australasia. Now it seems that Australia and New Zealand are very, very close, doesn't it? But actually, it's 3 hours flying time from Sydney to Christchurch. I live in Christchurch, usually. And there aren't many flights to Christchurch, only 3, 4 or 5 flights a day, and Christchurch is 2 hours ahead of Sydney, so it takes 5 hours on your watch to get over to Christchurch. I hope you're taking notes because this may be in the quiz. You can see Steve is making some notes here, look. So it's quite a long way. Now, Australia and New Zealand are very, very different. Yes. Really? Australia is geographically very, very old. It's a very old country. Because it's old, there are lots and lots of minerals. There's gold, coal, iron. Any other things in Australia? Uranium. Uranium. Yeah, good. Uranium and copper. Copper, yeah, copper. So there's copper, zinc, there are lots and lots of minerals and also diamonds. So it's a very, very rich country. A lot of steel, iron is sent to China, as you know. The Chinese use it to make steel. They use the iron. New Zealand is very, very different. Oh, sorry. Australia has lots of dangerous animals. Well, kangaroos aren't dangerous, but yes. Snakes. Spiders. Alligators. Eagles. Jellyfish. Sharks. Tasmanian devils. Whoa, check it out, Joe. Yeah. And amazing. New Zealand is very different. New Zealand is a very young country. It's volcanic. And it's very, very seismically active. It's long and thin like Japan. And like Japan, it's a new country, very, very seismically active. Lots of earthquakes and volcanoes. And also New Zealand doesn't have any dangerous animals. Yep. So this is New Zealand. There are two main islands. There's a North Island and the South Island. I live here in Christchurch. See there? That's where I live. The Chatham Islands is part of New Zealand. New Zealand is a little bit bigger than the United Kingdom. So it's a big country, the same as the United Kingdom. It's quite a large land area. And do you guys know this, the Lord of the Rings? Yeah, it's famous for, it's where the Lord of the Rings was filmed. And like Japan, it is long and thin, lots of mountains, lots of beautiful beaches, lots of forests, and most people live around the coast. So most people can go swimming in the ocean. Oh, what's this? Who said that? Now, if now, if yeah, yeah, look, what's this? This is a special trick to keep you awake. Right. So, if you look here, Christchurch, Banks Peninsula, you can see something very, very strange here. And this is Banks Peninsula. This is where I live in Christchurch. You see Christchurch here? This is Christchurch. Christchurch is a city about the same population as Sheffield. 430,000 people in Christchurch. And here is the Banks Peninsula. Two volcanoes. Here is a volcano, and here is a volcano. They were active 11 and 8 million years ago. The geology is very, very, very complex in this area. Over the years, erosion has created many, many, many bays and two harbors here. The black line is State Highway 75. The yellow lines are sealed roads suitable for cars. The grey lines are gravel roads for camper vans. So what about the red lines? What are they? Sorry? What, express roads? What do you think the red lines are? Red line, red line, red line, red line, red line, red line. What are they? Sorry? Yeah, what are the red lines? What are they? Sorry? No, they're not highways. Dun, 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 dun. Red lines. They are walking paths. Walking trails. So, I'm telling you about camper vans, walking trails. What do you think it looks like here? Do you think it looks beautiful? Yeah, it's a tourist place. So here it is. This photo was taken from this position here. This position, looking outwards, this is where it was taken. And on the lower slopes, it's suitable for grazing cows. In the top, suitable for grazing sheep. It's very, very easy to find beer and wine in New Zealand because there are many bars. Okay. You get that, Amy? Okay, cool. There are 4.5 million people in New Zealand. Amen. And 27 million sheep. Amen. For every human, there are 6 sheep, which is very lucky because sheep are delicious. This area is very important for sheep, cows, recreation, tourism, harbour cruises, and swimming with the dolphins. This is Littleton Harbour. And Littleton Harbour is this one here. There's a container terminal and a port, and this is a working village. I used to live in a house here. So every morning I used to wake up and look at this view. This is a working village. A working village means it's not a tourist village. This may be in the quiz. A working village is where people work. They work in the port. So when you go down into the village, it's very, very busy with people working. There are no tourists. However, Akaroa Harbour, which you can see here, this is Akaroa Harbour. This photo is taken in this area, just here. Akaroa Harbour is a tourist village, has a tourist village. This used to be a French colony. The French were in New Zealand, but they left. And you can go swimming with the dolphins. Fantastic. Yep. Which I've done it once. It's terrific. So here you have Christchurch, you have Littleton, and you have Akaroa. And you can see these used to be volcano lakes. Now, moving to Christchurch. This is Christchurch. Amazing. This is where I live. On the left is Banks Peninsula, the volcano. And this is from Sumner Beach. My mum's been here. Fantastic. This is Christchurch city centre. These are the Southern Alps. From the beach to the mountains takes about 2 hours to drive. This is in the winter. You can go skiing here. So you can go onto the beach in the morning, walking on the beach. This guy's getting a bit sleepy. You can do some stretching like this. And then you can go skiing. Now this is 2008. So I'm telling you a long story here. This is where I work. This is the Botanic Gardens. Very, very beautiful. I'm a gardener here. Whoa! Hey guys, I'm 57, okay? I'm sorry. You can come to me later, I'll buy you some double-deckers. Anyway, one day I was gardening. Oh. I took these photographs, and here in this garden, this is a public garden, you can see this is bark chips. The bark chips are used to control the weeds, and they also look beautiful. And these are called hebes. These are a kind of bush. You can see them in Sheffield. These are secateurs used for cutting. I put the secateurs here so you can see the size for scale. And look at this. What's this? Very, very strange. A brown plant. A very strange brown plant. Plants aren't normally brown. I thought, what's this? What shall I do with it? So what did I do? No, I didn't. With chemicals. Die. So I sprayed. No, I said. Okay. So I sprayed it with chemicals. But I didn't know what it was. I thought, what's this? Now, what do you think it looks like? Asparagus. Yeah, fantastic, asparagus. I thought it was asparagus. This is asparagus. What's asparagus? It's a vegetable. It's very, very delicious. Amy knows about asparagus. It's delicious. And so I'm always hungry. So I thought, it's asparagus, it's asparagus, it's asparagus. I was very excited. But then I thought, oh dear, no, there's something different. What's different here? The color. This is green, this is brown. So I just didn't know what was going on here. Now, asparagus is just a normal flowering plant. And here is a normal flowering plant. This is asparagus here. A normal flowering plant has roots, a stem, central stem. It has buds. Here are the buds. It has leaves here, flowers, and seeds. Where are the seeds? No seeds there. Sorry, I'm shaking because I've had too much coffee. Really? Yeah. Now, the strange plant is very, very similar. It has roots, it has a central stem, it has buds, it has flowers, it has seeds, but there are no obvious leaves. Huh? How can a plant have no leaves? What are leaves for? What does a plant use leaves for? Leaves are like solar panels. Sorry? They produce oxygen, yes. They make sugars. And what we have is photosynthesis. The leaves are the site of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is where carbon dioxide is taken from the air. Water comes up through the roots. Water plus carbon dioxide creates sugars. A byproduct, as this gentleman from Kazakhstan says, is a byproduct oxygen. Now this is a very, very simple equation for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is actually a lot more complicated. And I have some information on photosynthesis which I can email to you if there are any biologists or biochemists in the room. Photosynthesis has two steps. The water is split by sunlight to form protons and electrons. These are passed down the proton motive force and electron pump. They're used in the Calvin cycle to make sugars, and a byproduct is oxygen. Now, where does the oxygen come from? Does it come from carbon dioxide or water? Water. So, this is where we do a little bit of science. Are you... CO2... Oh! CO2... O2, it doesn't come from CO2, it comes from the water. And what happened in 1941, some scientists, they created water, you can create water in the laboratory from gaseous hydrogen, gaseous oxygen, you can combine them to create water, and they used carbon-18, and they found that all of the oxygen comes from the water. How exciting is that? Hey, can you poke these two girls? Give them a poke. Sleeping Beauty. Now, they need some sugar, don't they? Yeah. Now, what are these guys doing here? They're talking. What are they talking about? Plants. They're talking about plants. This gardener is saying, "Oh, I saw a plant today. It was this size." And she's saying, "Oh, really? Did you?" And she's saying, "Oh, I'm just looking at plants." So the point I'm making here is that gardeners, like me, really, really love gardening. If you go to gardener and tell them about a strange plant that you've seen. Right. So, yes, really, yeah. And what I did is I took photographs of the strange plant and I chopped some of the strange plant off and I took them and I showed them. I said, do you know what these are? And they said, no, we don't, but very strangely, we've seen them. And there are more and more and more of these plants appearing in the gardens. So can you see I'm telling you a story here? Earthquakes, gardens. Can you see a connection? No. Okay. And they also noticed that some of the bushes were dying. When they found the strange plant, the bushes were dying near to the strange plant. So you can see there's something strange going on here. So this was very exciting for these gardeners. I said, what do you do with these? We just spray them, the same as me. So we were spraying them, but it wasn't having any effect. Can you poke him, please? Thank you. Okay. Oh! Now, look, we've got 2 left. Yeah. Now, what other things are common in volcanic areas? I told you. Earthquakes and what else? Sorry? No. No. What other things can you find in volcanic areas? Got volcanoes, earthquakes, and boiling. Yeah, geysers. You can find geysers or geysers. But in Japan, what do you have a lot of? Hot springs. Yes. So you got hot springs and earthquakes. And here are the Hanma Springs hot springs. Attention! Yes, sir. Attention! Yes, sir. Okay. Here, Hanma Springs is about 100 miles north of Christchurch. So you can see earthquakes, volcanoes, hot springs. So earthquakes, volcanoes, hot springs, strange plant. What's the connection? Well, Christchurch geology here. Here's Christchurch. New Zealand sits at the southwest edge of the Ring of Fire. You've got the South America, North America, you've got Japan, you've got Russia here, all the way through down, it's here. And here there are 2 plates, and here you can see that fault lines run between the 2 plates. The Pacific plate rises up over the Australian plate. This is the speed of movement, about 40 millimeters per year. When it ruptures, it creates earthquakes. Terrible. And this red line, what's this? Sorry? Maybe. The answer is I don't know. It's your homework. Please email me. I want you guys to email me. Maybe I will give you a prize. If somebody emails me, I will give you a prize. If somebody emails me with the correct answer, what is this red line? I don't know. It's something obviously to do with earthquakes. And here you have the Pacific plate moves up and over the Australian plate. And here is the Alpine fault. The Alpine fault is here, and here you've got some geology students trying to push it a little bit faster. You can see it's not very exciting, is it? It's just a little bit of a line. There's not a great deal of difference. Now, this is the next part of the story. In 2010, we had a very, very bad earthquake, 7.1 magnitude. The epicenter was here, The circles show aftershocks. And the size of the aftershocks are related to the size of the circle. So these green circles represent 5.5 months of aftershocks. 5.5 months after the first earthquake, on February 22nd, 2011, there was a smaller earthquake, but it was much shallower and in the center of Christchurch. 185 people died. It was a very, very, very serious earthquake. Why are there not many red dots, red circles? Why are there more green circles and red circles? Can you see? What? Why? The green circles represent 5.5 months of activity. The red circles represent 2 weeks of activity, because this map is from 8th of March, 2 weeks after the earthquake. So this earthquake was very, very destructive. This is before, this is after. You can see the dome is on the floor. You can see it caused a lot of damage. 185 people were killed. It was terrible. Here, this is quite interesting. This boulder came down the hill, bounced, and went into the house. Nobody was killed in this house. This is a different boulder. Why is she smiling? Why is she lucky? Yeah, nobody was hurt. She found a rock. What did she do with the rock? She took a picture and she sold it on eBay. Incredible. So she's very happy. It landed in her house. Yeah. Another problem in Christchurch. So can you see? Strange plant earthquake. Strange plant earthquake. What's the connection? So here you can see another problem in Christchurch is liquefaction. Liquefaction is when saturated or semi-saturated soil vibrates from the earthquake. It loses its cohesive strength, the water and the particles. The water rises to the surface with the sediment. The sand boils. It then settles down, and you get this horrible, horrible liquefaction. Sometimes the car will be swallowed into the ground completely. Wow. It causes a big mess. This is a student army from the University of Canterbury fixing it up. You can see New Zealand is very warm. And so here, so what I did then is I asked a gardener about this strange plant. This isn't a gardener, this is just from Google. Okay. And I asked him, what's this plant? He said, oh, it's Orobanche minor. Wow. Amazing. Now he said this is a parasitic plant. He said it has become more common since the earthquakes. He said that stressed plants and shrubs, because of the liquefaction, the plants are becoming more stressed, and the Orobanche minor parasite can attack the plants. And that's why it was becoming more common. Orobos means bitter vetch. Vetch is a very, very small plant. It's a legume that fixes nitrogen. So bitter vetch, and anko means strangle. This is Greek. So Orobus, anko. Orobus, anko. Orobanche. It means bitter vetch, strangle. So it means the plant is strangling the host, and it probably has a bitter taste. So it's maybe not all that tasty. And so he said to me, hey, Paul, why don't you go and dig some up? Dig it up? I'd never thought about digging it up. I just sprayed it, chopped it, taken photos. I dug it up, and I found that here is the Orobanche minor, here are the roots, here's the host plant, the Orobanche minor, the host plant. What can you see here? The roots of the Orobanche minor are attached to the host plant. It's a parasite. And so, getting back to it, it's just a normal plant, flowers, pollinated by bees. It forms seeds like a normal plant, but the main point about it is it's holoparasitic. What does holoparasitic mean? Hollow parasitic. Hollow parasitic. All. Somebody said all. Yes. It takes all of its nutrients from the host. The water, the sugar, the minerals. It just sucks the life from the host plant. It's a parasite. Like a vampire sucking blood. And there are about 150 of these plants. Orobanche minor, Orobanche hederae, all different plants, all behaving in the same way. Now remember what I told you? The water comes from the ground, the carbon dioxide from the air. Where does the oxygen come from? So, this is how a normal plant grows. The water comes from the ground, the carbon dioxide comes into the leaves, photosynthesis, photolysis splits the water, the Calvin cycle makes the sugars, oxygen is released as a byproduct. However, Orobanche minor is different. Only 5 minutes, guys. Only 5 minutes remaining. Yay! Then you go to Western Park with me to play Pokemon Go. So how does Orobanche grow? Very interesting. This is Orobanche minor. It sheds the seeds into the soil. Strigolactones. Lactone, anything with "-one" is a hormone. Hormone. Progesterone, things like that. It's an auxin. Strigolactones are released from the roots. The seeds of the Orobanche minor detect it. The seeds of the Orobanche minor produce a hostoria. Oh, this is a hostoria here. The hostoria is like an alien. You know alien? Ah, terrible. It attaches to the root. The hostoria forms into a tubercle. It takes a few weeks or months for this to happen. Seeds flower. The life cycle continues. So you can see, this is not complicated, is it? It's very, 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 very simple. A very simple and effective process. And again, you can see here the attachment, this is the root. The roots are brown here. These are the roots of the host plant, which are white, which is normally the case. Roots are normally white. But the Orobanche minor has got brown roots. And the attachment, the Orobanche minor is sucking everything from the host plant and causing it to be stressed. So, I wanted to show you some Orobanche minor today, but I can't find any. I'm sorry. Orobanche minor only occurs in the south of England, in the Channel Islands, south of England. However, there are Orobanche species distributed around. I'm sorry I couldn't find any. But, oh! You need to come down and get them. That handsome gentleman in the white shirt. Please come down here. Yeah, it's you. You have to get it. I can't throw it that far. I'm 57. You're not getting any. Nice guy. He often talks to me, that guy. What I did is I looked on Amazon and I found Orobanche hederae. Orobanche hederae will grow in Sheffield. My mother has some ivy in her garden. 2 weeks ago I planted the Orobanche near my mum's ivy. Next year Next year, my mother won't have any ivy, but we'll have Orobanche. I can show you guys next year. Don't tell my mother. Okay? Now, so are there any uses for this? Can we use it for anything? So I did a little bit of research. And this is quite funny because Plants for a Future say no edible uses, no medicinal uses. Basically, it's useless. But I did a little bit of searching. If you can send me an email with any uses, maybe I'll give, yes, I will, I'll give you a prize. There have been reports that it's a very bitter, nasty tasting plant. Please don't try to eat it. And they have made medicine from it in the past. Maybe 100 years ago, they used it to treat kidney stones. But I would recommend that you do not try to eat it because we don't know, it could be poisonous. So, there are only 2 more slides left. And no chocolate. So, the gardeners had a big discussion about this problem. So what did we decide to do? What do you think? Should we spray them? Should we weed them? Chop, chop, chop. Or should we pull them out? What do you think? Right, okay. Who thinks spray them? 1. Who thinks weed eat them? Okay, Steve. Who thinks pull them out? Whoa, you're right. The answer is pull them out. Why? If you spray them, it has no effect. And the spray can go into the host plant and kill the host plant. You can weed eat them. Chop, 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 chop. But what happens if you weed eat them and leave them on the ground? They grow again. The seeds grow again. So we decided the best way was to pull them out. So what we did is we hired a lot of children to pull them out. No, just joking. What you do, you go to the Orobanche minor, you grasp it firmly, and you very, very, very slowly pull it out. Very slowly. As you slowly pull it out, the hostoria become detached and you don't damage the host plant. Okay, very slowly. It's a bit like taking a plaster off. If you rip the plaster, But if you pull it slowly, you leave your hair, okay? So we decided to pull it out. So, guys, I honestly think that's the end of the story. There's one more slide. Yay! Who's this handsome guy? I was 29 years old. And this is my Japanese girlfriend. Yeah, really. It's in Australia. This is my email at the University of Sheffield. This is my email. You can reach me. This is the safest one. Also, you can friend me on Facebook. Friend me today. Okay? My major, I have a BSc Honours in Applied Biochemistry from the Brunel University in West London. Okay. So I'd like to thank you all for attending the lecture. You've been absolutely fantastic. Please email me. Please friend me on Facebook. I will send you information on photosynthesis. I can send you the tape script. I can send you anything. If you answer the questions, I will find you and give you a prize. Okay, thank you. Yeah, more. Come on. Come on. Louder. Thank you. Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone. If anyone has any questions, Paul would be more than happy to answer.
Yes, certainly.
And watch out.